Hello everybody, I'm Burning Ass and welcome back to the Kerbal Space Program. We are looking at Kerbin and it's looking fantastic. Clouds seem to be working more often than they are not working, so that's pretty good. I've gotten a few more mods, so it might crash again or something. It hasn't crashed yet. We've got new places to launch stuff from. We've got an actual launching pad here and lots of runways. That's actually pretty damn fantastic, I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty freaking good. For some reason, most of the satellites have clustered around this area for some reason. I don't quite understand what's up with that. But before we do anything, let's go to our capital ship. I asked you guys to leave a suggestion for the name of the ship, and the only one I got was the big, ultra, mega, pattern, time, and spaceship, and that's even worse than what I was planning on naming it. I'm not even joking, but I like it and I'm gonna go with it. And it just seems to fit. It fits just perfectly. It's glorious. Okay, so it now has a really awesome name, and that's glorious. So let's go back to our space center. So if we zoom out from Kerbin and we go all the way here, all the way out, very far out, we can see we actually have a few things in flight. There's actually a few things going on. This is the big ultra mega pattern time and spaceship. That's this one. And then we have the Kaiser system interplanetary vessel. We know about these two. And there is also a Juno system thingy. And we are also going to the Fairless system. This one will actually be arriving first of all of them. And we also have a ship going to the Wood system, and that's actually pretty damn far out. It's actually going to arrive in 34 years. What the actual? I don't approve of this, guys. That's quite long. That's quite long. I'm not even going to joke around even a tiny amount. So I think it's been long enough, and we can actually go and time warp a bunch. We can time warp for 100 days, less than 100 days, and we will arrive at the Fairless system with this vessel, and it's going to be freaking fabulous. We'll actually see what it looks like, and it's gonna be fantastic. I don't think I've actually zoomed in on this one, but that's fine, I'm not going to either. So let's get over to our vessel. Hello everybody, it's me. We are in speed up mode, so you know what time it is. It's time for Post Commentary Guy, the guy who always stumbles over his words like it's nobody's freaking business. So we are looking at Sherlock and Herlock with quite funny matching names, and they are actually going to the Fairless system, and that's fantastic. We are setting up a maneuver node to lower our periapsis by quite an amount, and that's actually pretty helpful. And later we'll be setting up another maneuver node to fix our orbits even further. But I'm once again getting ahead of myself, and these two Kerbals are only just now executing their first maneuver, and it was successful so far. They did not yet die. They might eventually die, but they did not yet die. And that's everything went better than expected, basically. We are changing our orbit because as it was, we were very inclined clockwise, and that's a very bad thing. That's an absolute terrible thing. When we did our very first dual mission way back in the previous series, we discovered how bad it is to get a clockwise orbit. So we are instantly going with counterclockwise orbit, and it's going to be fabulous. I decided I want to do error braking because it would otherwise take so freaking much fuel to slow us down enough to get into orbit that basically all our fuel would be gone, and that's not the best. So I will be retrying many times to actually get to the proper height for error braking ourselves into an orbit, and hopefully it won't bring us down to the surface basically, but it's not as easy as it sounds, unfortunately, and I end up trying many times. I think 5 or 6 attempts, but it does work eventually. Eventually it does work, so that's pretty fantastic. At that point I was basically shitting bricks because those hills seemed to be getting very freaking close. And another problem, we were not low enough, so those hills were very close and we weren't even low enough. So we'll be trying again at a lower altitude and we'll see what happens. We may end up slamming into the ground if we go too low, and that's not the best. Generally speaking, you don't want to slam into the ground we are at that point nearly going at 4,000 meters a second. Slowing down, but damn, that's pretty damn quick. You don't want to crash into a mountain at that speed. So we're going for a periapsis of 12,000 meters. And that's not very high, not gonna lie, that's pretty damn low. Is it gonna be low enough for us to get in orbit? Through just sheer error braking? Look at that, how close that hill was. That was insane. I'm not quite sure how far away from it as it was. It was about maybe 4,000 meters. And that's pretty damn close, not gonna lie. So there is little room for us to lower our periapsis. But Sherlock and Herlock, they know how to quick save. So they are going to lower it even further. And we're gonna see what happens. It's gonna be glorious. Our periapsis is going down to 7,500 meters. Oh boy. Oh, I'm raising it again for some reason. Now it's at 9,900 meters. So let's see. Is this going to be low enough? Is it? Maybe? Possibly? It seems to be going pretty well so far. But I'm afraid it's just not quite enough. I tried to set up a node, see what could be done, but not a lot of good stuff could be done. So I skipped that and decided to go even lower. And that's generally kind of crazy, because we were already nearly kissing the ground. We were already nearly kissing the surface with our vessel. That's generally not a great thing. So I'm looking at the map and I can see that we are basically going to crash into a wall, and the camera has changed and bad stuff is going to happen. Bye bye Sherlock Herlock. So we go back to a quick load. Fortunately those guys are still alive, otherwise this would have been a very long boring mission to nothing. We just totally overshot our target because physics weren't processed for some reason, I don't know why. It's kind of crazy, kind of stupid. So, 7,500 meters didn't work. That was too low, or I don't know, it was a bit more than that. So we are trying with 8,500, nearly 8,500 meters. It seemed to skim that hill a bit, so what we did was, I think that was a pretty good thing to do, we aimed our ship up and we fired the thrusters for the one thruster for a bit. And that actually seems to have done it. It's been done. We have done it. We are actually in an orbit right now. It's not a stable orbit, it's not a safe orbit. If we leave this thing, it is going to crash, I think. Because the periapsis is currently at 4,417 meters. And that's a bit too low. That means we will actually be crashing into the surface next time we are at its lowest point. So it's not the greatest. Its atmosphere will slow us down enough to actually kill Sherlock and Herlock, and I wouldn't even notice, and that's not too great. So we are setting up a node to actually raise our periapsis to about 1,000,000 meters. I didn't want to raise it too much. I didn't really care too much for a non-eccentric orbit. Just an orbit was good enough. Any old orbit would have sufficed, because we currently do not yet know where we actually want to go for a landing. We could go there, but I don't quite know yet. We'll have to figure it out, right? So I'm doing science to check if it works, and it seems to work. So I have already reset that experiment, because an experiment from a landing should be a lot better. So we are going to our tracking station and taking a look at our thing. So it's looking fabulous, right? We did it. Look at that. Go back to the old me now. So guys, we've done it. Holy shit, we are in orbit of Fairless. We are orbiting Fairless. Holy shit, that's pretty damn great. These guys in here, they are pretty damn fearless themselves actually. They are the first Kerbals to have arrived at an interplanetary destination. But we can also take a look at where these guys are at, how far they are. Well, they are nearly at Juno actually. They are only 91 days away. That's pretty quick already. And the guys going for the Kaiser system are actually going to be there in less than 300 days. And the big ultra mega patent time and spaceship still has another 3 years to go, but it's gonna be fine. It's going to be great. So what we need to do now is we need to decide where we're going to land. We can land on a big badass planet of mean atmosphere and stuff, or we can pick one of its moons, which will be a lot easier. There's way less, well, maybe not the landing part, but there is a lot less gravity on these moons. The surface does seem to be very strange, very irregular, so landing would be a bit of a bitch, but gravity wise it's pretty easy. This thing weighs about 54% of normal gravity, so it's actually going to be a lot more difficult, especially with its atmosphere. It's gonna be great though. You guys need to let me know in the comments, are we going to land on Fairless, or are we going to land on Dudley, or are we going to land on Peabody? Peabody looks so weird. Look at that. Look at this. What is that? What's going on with this thing? So that's Peabody, or we can go to Dudley, which is also very weird. I mean, how does a moon form that way? It's kinda crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I see weird shapes. It's kinda nutty. Or are we going to Bragg, which is, I think, going to be hell to land on, basically. Pretty sure it would be hell. Pretty sure it would be. So next time we'll be landing these two guys on either the planet itself or one of its 3 moons. And it's gonna be glorious, you guys need to tell me, so it's gonna be great. In between recordings I'll probably work on a rover sort of design. I'm very bad at those, but I'll try and make a decent enough rover. We can send it to the moon for testing, and if it's good enough we can actually send it on an interplanetary mission and it might end up on Fairless. Who knows? Who knows? We might end up driving a rover around on Fairless. What the shit, that would be pretty fantastic. I would really love that. I am very bad, so I have no real big high hopes or expectations, but hey, KSP, right? It might work. It might freaking work. But that's gonna be for the next time. So until next time, I've been Burning Acid. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.